It had been 90 days since the ink dried on the divorce papers, and I was finally starting to feel like myself again. No more screaming, no more passive-aggressive texts at 2 a.m., and no more pretending I didn't see the warning signs I'd ignored for years. I was standing in my bare kitchen, pouring dark roast into a chipped mug, when my cell phone buzzed. I almost swiped it away, but the name on the screen made my hand freeze. Howard Keene, my former He hadn't spoken a word to me since the day he helped his daughter walk out with half my assets. I answered. Before I could even say hello, he was yelling through the speaker, his voice cracking like old wood. "Elida, you need to get down here with $2.5 million. It's Evelyn. She's in the ICU. They won't touch her without payment," he screamed. "Please, she needs you." I pulled the phone away from my ear, took a slow sip of my coffee, and said calmly, "I'm sorry. Who is this?" The silence on his end lasted a solid 10 seconds. Then I hung up. "Let me take you back. My name is Elijah Ward. I was married to Evelyn Keene for a decade. I thought her love was the one solid thing in my life. Turns out, it was just a contract with a fine print I hadn't read. The truth started to surface when my body started to fail me. I wasn't hit by a car. I was diagnosed with a rare degenerative disorder that left my muscles weak, but sharpened my mind. I stepped back from my company to focus on getting better. Evelyn stepped forward to drain it. She forged my signatures, liquidated stocks, and even borrowed money from people who thought they were investing in me. She smiled at the board members and whispered sweet lies when I confronted her. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "I met a builder, not a broken man." I was so stunned I couldn't speak. How do you respond when the person you trusted most tells you you're useless? The next week, she had a lawyer serve me papers. What she didn't know is that I had planned for the worst. I had a backup will, a hidden trust, and a lawyer who owed me his life. She didn't know that one day soon, she would be the one begging me to open the door. After I hung up on Howard, I just stood there in the silence. The man had spent years belittling me, and now he was desperate. I poured another cup of coffee. See, Evelyn thought she won the war. She took the mansion, the luxury car, and the sympathy of everyone in her social circle. Howard helped her drain every account that still had my name on it. But my illness had a silver lining. It made me late. While they were celebrating my supposed demise, I was rebuilding from a small apartment above a bookstore. I had a secret fund manager, 2 laptops, and a burning desire to survive. What do you build when you have nothing left to lose? I had receipts. Every single transaction Evelyn made was tracked. Every lie she told the court was documented. Every diamond she bought with my money was screen captured and time-stamped. I stayed silent, and I waited. And just when they thought I had vanished, they realized my trust fund was still alive and it was locked up tight. I had placed $2.5 million in a medical fund that only I could access. So, when Evelyn needed emergency surgery and her insurance had lapsed because she forgot to pay the premiums she was too busy spending, they hit a wall. They were broke and they needed me. I had been waiting for this call, but not for revenge. I was waiting for justice. I called my attorney. "It's time to activate Clause 17, I said. He paused. "Are you sure?" "Yes," I said. "Let's see how loyal her new boyfriend is now." Then my doorbell rang. It wasn't Howard. It was Evelyn on my doorstep. She was standing there in those expensive heels she bought with my money, mascara running down her face. She looked broken. "Elijah," she whispered. "Please, she's dying. I let the silence hang between us. She wasn't here to make peace. She was here to drain me dry again. I finally spoke. The woman who stood in court and said I abandoned her. The woman who moved her boyfriend into our bed a week after the papers were signed. You want money from the man you buried? She tried to interrupt, but I held up my hand. You want $2.5 million. She nodded, tears streaming. I know what we did was wrong, she pleaded. But she's your daughter, too. I tilted my head. Is she? I had known the truth for years. The night before our wedding, she whispered a secret in my ear. If the timing is off, we'll just say she's premature. I never confronted her, I just waited. I kept timelines and records, and I never threw them away. I stepped aside, not to let her in, but to reveal a man standing behind me. Detective Graves, I said, this is her. He stepped forward with a warrant. Miss Moore, you're under investigation for financial fraud and medical insurance falsification. She stumbled back, screaming. You set me up. No, I said. You set yourself up when you underestimated me. Howard came running up the stairs with two men in suits. I raised my hand. They're with the hospital board, I said. They have questions about the medical loan you forged in my name. I turned to the detective. And one last thing, I said, pulling a letter from my coat. It was the document Evelyn forged to transfer debt to my name. But this Jimmy, it had her fingerprint on it. I hope your lover knows how to cook in prison. But then, my daughter walked out from behind me. She wasn't in the eye. See who she was with me, holding a document that transferred the trust back to my name. I never wanted revenge. I wanted peace. But you can't plant flowers in a field full of landmines. After Evelyn was taken away, Howard came back. He slammed the door open. You destroyed her life, he yelled. I sipped my coffee. No, she did that herself. I just made sure the truth couldn't hide. He threw a folder at me, faking voices, falsified doctor's notes. She needed help. He roared. She needed consequences. I corrected him. He reached for his coat pocket, and my assistant, Mara, hit the silent alarm. Sirens in the distance. You'll pay for this, he snarled. I already did for 10 years, I said. I slid a USB drive across the table, labeled, for the day they all return. Inside were audio recordings of Evelyn bragging about her schemes. He didn't take it. He didn't need to. The truth was already online. I made sure every time someone Googled her name, the word fraud showed up beside her face. At the door, he turned and said, she was right. You are dangerous. I smiled. Only when necessary. Then my phone lit up. It was a message from the hospital. Evelyn had never been admitted. The ICU crisis was a hoax. It was a final plea to make me look like a monster while she played the victim. I was done. I retrieved a hard drive from the safe. It held security footage from my old house. I sent it all to her employer and the charity board she lied to. I also tracked down her new boyfriend. I showed him the evidence, the fake documents, the lies. His eyes filled with dread, not love. She told me you abandoned her, he whispered. She tells everyone that, I said. He left without a word. Later that night, Evelyn called. You ruined everything! She screamed. No, I said. I just exposed it. I hung up. The next morning, I found a black envelope on my doorstep. No return address. Inside, one sentence. You should have left the past buried. I stared at it, that single line hitting me like a shockwave. I checked the cameras. Nothing. Whoever delivered it knew how to avoid my system. I didn't sleep that night. By morning, I remembered the name, Jonas Clay. He was Evelyn's old colleague, the man I accused of sabotaging my company's merger years ago. I opened an old USB drive. Jonas had vanished after the divorce. Then the doorbell rang. A man in a wrinkled suit stood on my porch holding a briefcase. "Mr. Ward, I was told to deliver this from Jonas Clay." Inside was a burner phone, a stack of files, and a single photo. A photo of Evelyn and Jonas from last week. I wasn't just a victim, I was a target. The burner phone buzzed. "You have 48 hours to decide. What would you do if the ghost of the past came back to make a deal?" I spun around, but the man who delivered it was gone. I called my cybersecurity lead, Daniel. He traced the message. It didn't come from Jonas. It came from a shell company owned by Evelyn. She wasn't just trying to survive. She was trying to steal my father's offshore trust. I had kept my father's original will buried in a safe. Evelyn had tried to revise it, but the edits were never notarized. I gathered the evidence and walked into my lawyer's office. "You're about to own everything she tried to steal," he said. That evening, Evelyn came home to find a box on her porch. Inside, the burner phone, the photo of her and Jonas, and a note. "You forgot who taught you how to play this game." Silence isn't always weakness. Sometimes it's the sharpest weapon you can sharpen. She wanted to bury me, but she forgot she was the one who handed me the shovel. Verdict: was the revenge justified? Rating 9 out of 10. Commentary: while the protagonist's actions were surgical and cold, he exposed a serial fraudster who was actively ruining lives. He didn't commit a crime. He simply refused to be a doormat anymore. What would you have done? Would you have answered that phone call? If you think justice was served, smash that like button and subscribe to Karma Court Files for more stories where karma always wins.